Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys seeing my face for the very first time, my name is Esmeralda, but most people like to call me Esme. And if you guys aren't yet subscribed, please make sure to hit that little red button. I would really appreciate it. So for today's video and the last video of 2020 that will be going up on my channel, I thought that I would just sit down and talk to you guys. And if you guys have been watching my videos from the very start, then you'll realize that this is where I used to film most of my videos. You know, I would like sit down here, do my story times here. So it definitely feels a little nostalgic. And I'm also going to be pulling up my special notebook. I actually used this notebook when I filmed my very first video, which was almost 3 years ago, and I've used it throughout some of my other videos. So I can imagine that, like myself, 2020 was a tough year for a lot of you guys who are watching this, but 2020 was also a year of growth for me. I gained new insights and my perspective on life changed like dramatically. And so to close off this year, I wanted to sit down and tell you guys 20 things that 2020 taught me, or 20 things that I learned this year. And I do have them written on my notebook, so I'm going to be going through them. So let's just get started. So these were not written like in order of priority. I kind of just sat down one day and I kind of like reflected on the year and jotted down any things that I realized I had learned this year. So the very first one is that it is important to take risks because life is too short and things change so quickly. So at the end of 2019, you guys might already know, but I took a trip to Miami with my sister and some of my friends, and that trip was mainly to go see CNCO and many of my other favorite artists like Why Don't We, Nile, because they were going to be playing at the iHeart Jingle Ball. And that trip was actually planned like last minute. We weren't planning on going, but I don't know what happened that we just booked the hotel and flights and we flew out there, and we were just there for a couple of days. But it was honestly one of my favorite trips, and it was the last time that I attended a concert or was on a plane, and flying and concerts are like two of my favorite things. So I'm so glad that I did that. And this year, you know, it seemed like the world turned upside down and so many things changed, and I'm just so glad that I took that risk, because it's been over a year since I've gone to a concert. And I know it's not the most important thing, but it's something that I really enjoy and I miss it so much, and we honestly do not know when concerts will be coming back. So I'm just really glad that we made that trip. So the next thing that I learned is that spending time in nature can be so relaxing. So if you guys saw my vlogs during the summer, then you saw that I spent quite some time outside, like in my backyard. I just love going outside, whether it was to read or to do my work, or when school started. I also like spending some time out there getting some fresh air, because I realized that being stuck in my room was not healthy at all. And I did spend like 80% of the year in my room, and you know, it has affected my mental health. So just like being outside in my backyard with my siblings was just really helpful. And some of my highlights of 2020 were actually going to watch the sunrise. I'm not a morning person, I'm more of a night owl, but like waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. were actually worth it when I got to go see the sunrise. It was one of my favorite days this year. And I also really liked the day that I went with my sister to a field and we had a little photo shoot. It was really nice just being outside in nature, and I feel like sunshine really does do us good. And like now there's snow outside of my window, so I'm really glad that I took advantage of those days to spend time outside in nature, because now it's definitely too cold to be outside. The next thing on my list is to always be kind, because you never know what others are going through. So this was the year that I uploaded the most videos on my YouTube channel, and my channel grew a lot more. And although I want to come on here and show my happy side to maybe help one of you guys forget about any struggles that you may be dealing with in your day, there were some days that I would come on here and film and I wasn't feeling the best. There was actually one time where I had to change the day of filming because it just wasn't my day. And so I learned that just like myself, many people, you know, they go on social media and they don't always talk about their rough days, or they show when they're going through a difficult time, but we all have those really tough days. And so it's always important to remember to be kind, because we aren't aware of what goes behind the scenes. The next thing that I realized this year was that I watch YouTube way more than I watch TVs or movies. I also learned that social media breaks are so essential. So if you didn't know, I do these social media detox days every month. So I basically just choose one day out of the month and I don't go on any social media. So I don't go on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I do still go on YouTube. I don't consider that social media, but other than that, I try to stay off. Also TikTok, because it's very time consuming. and I realized that on those days my mind is just more clear and I don't feel as anxious. And I do let you guys know on my Instagram and Twitter when I'm doing those days in case you guys want to join me. Also, this wasn't my idea. I got this idea from Jess Conti. She is another YouTuber, and that is something that I want to continue doing in 2021, possibly increasing my detox days to 2 days a month. If you're always on social media or like on your phone, it is pretty hard when you start off, but it's honestly become much easier as time goes by. So that's just something that I want to continue doing in the next year. Number 6 is that I have a newfound appreciation for cooking and baking. So in my previous videos I have shown a lot more of my cooking and baking, and this kind of goes along with the last thing that I told you guys about, which was on my social media detox days. Cooking and baking are 2 things that I like to do. I just feel like I have more time and it kind of helps me keep my mind off of wanting to go on my phone. Number 7, I learned that the little things are truly the things that matter in life. So I'm honestly such a homebody. I don't go out much. And well, this year I was stuck at home a lot more because of quarantine. But some of my favorite memories was when I got the chance to go and drop off some donuts at some of my friends' house. I hadn't seen them in months, and so it was really nice getting to just catch up with them for a few minutes because it was just a quick stop by, but I was able to just like see new faces because I was stuck at home, you know, and the only people that I did see were like my family and stuff. So it was nice getting to see some of my friends and getting to talk to them, and also just having someone like reach out to me when I did post a quote on my Instagram story or I tweeted something, and I had some of my family members or my friends reach out and ask how I was doing. That has always been really nice, but this year in specific it was extra meaningful. Or also when my family and I got COVID, one of my sister's godmothers sent over a little like care package, and it was the sweetest thing ever. I really appreciated that. And lastly, I realized that we kind of get used to some of the things in like our daily lives, such as like going out to eat at a restaurant, and that was something that I didn't do for months because of corona. I didn't feel comfortable going out even though they were opened, and so the first time that I went to eat at a restaurant since quarantine was like so weird, but it honestly helped me with my mental health. Just like getting out there and having a social interaction did me well. The next thing on here is that I'm definitely more of a coffee person as opposed to a tea person. I just realized with all my long nights of study, coffee was my friend. Also, exercising can be very therapeutic. You guys have probably heard this already, but exercising is really good when dealing with stress or anxiety. And I was actually exercising like 3 to 5 days a week during the summer. It kind of went downhill after school started because I did not have much time or energy, but that's something that I want to get back into doing, and that's something that I would really recommend if you're dealing with stress. So number 10 is that mental health is just as important as physical health. I have always felt this way, but specifically this year I know many of us are dealing with different struggles, and a lot of it has to do with our mental health. And so I realized that it's always important to take care of ourselves, and I found myself trying to be like very productive this past year, but there were just some days where you kind of have to just take time for yourself, do what you want to do, watch a movie, eat your favorite snacks. And it was honestly doing some of these things that really helped me get through this year and cope with everything that was going on. The next thing that this year taught me was that if you set your mind to something, anything is possible. So I want to start off by thanking each and every one of you guys who have watched my videos this year and have left comments or reached out saying that you enjoy watching my videos. This was a year that I noticed my biggest growth on my YouTube channel. I did reach 1K subscribers, which was like a really big milestone for me. I know it's just a number and it might not be a very large number, but it's definitely a symbol that reminded me that all my hard work is definitely paying off and that you guys enjoy watching what I love to do. And also, I graduated from college this year. I graduated a semester early, and my education has always been something really important for me in my life. So graduating from college with a degree has always been on my bucket list. And even though it was a tough year and I was not a fan of online school, I'm so proud of myself for being able to get to where I am. And also, I do not mean to show off in any way, but I always made it a goal of mine to finish off any quarter or semester with A's and B's. I never wanted to get anything lower than a B, even though I know they're just letter grades and, you know, a C is fine, a D is fine, but I always work towards that A or B. And I can gladly say that I did finish off my school career without getting anything lower than a B. So yeah, those are 2 milestones that took a lot of hard work, but I'm so proud of myself for reaching them. The next thing on my list is that I learned that I really love airports. I don't know what it is, but I missed being at an airport and like waiting to board my flight this year, and I cannot wait to be able to travel soon. 13 is that music can really change your mood. You know, there were some days where I did not feel like doing much, but I realized that listening to some of my favorite artists and some of my favorite songs definitely put me in a better mood. Number 14 is that I have a better idea of what I want in a future partner. So I was talking to someone at the beginning of the year, and although I really enjoyed talking to that person, they just weren't really what I was looking for. And at the end of the day, I had to reflect on whether this person was doing me any good or if I could see them in my future. And after doing that reflection, I realized that there are certain things that I look for in a person, and I'm just glad that I had like this learning experience. The next thing is that sometimes it's the people you least expect. So back in like July or August, we did have to do surgery on my dog, and at that time I was not working. I was let off of my work for a couple of weeks, almost a month, and so I was dealing with some financial hardships, and this surgery did cost quite a lot of money. And I decided to do a GoFundMe, and I honestly was not expecting many people to help out because I know this year has been really tough, and I know everyone was dealing with financial hardships. You know, I wasn't the only one that lost my job, but so many of you guys helped by sharing my link or donating, and I really appreciate any of you guys that were able to help out in any way, and I'm so grateful. For number 16, I put that self-care nights are my absolute favorite. So I did so many self-care nights this year, and they honestly just really helped me rewind and relax at the end of a stressful or hard day. Just doing a face mask, painting my nails, and just like doing my skincare routine is really one of my favorite times of the day. And if you guys do not have any self-care nights, I would definitely recommend them. They're not expensive at all, and they really help you relax at the end of a long day. Number 17 is that YouTube is something I want to continue to pursue. So I film and edit videos for you guys as a hobby. This is not my job, but I honestly enjoy it so much. And filming and editing videos for you guys was one of the things that helped me get through this year. Whenever I sat down to film a video for you guys, I was able to just forget about all of my worries for a couple of minutes or hours of my day. And whenever I have one of you guys reach out to me and tell me that you watch my videos and that you enjoy it, that honestly means the world to me. I'm so glad that I made the decision of starting a YouTube channel almost 3 years ago, because if not, I know I would have regretted it. And I wish you guys could like see inside my mind, but whenever I'm like at a store or I'm watching a video or a TV show or basically just doing like daily life, I'm always thinking of like the next video I can film. I'm always thinking of new video ideas. So I think that shows how much I love doing this. And so I want to thank each and every one of you guys that sit down and watch my videos and just have been there from the very start. So we're getting down to the last 3 things on my list. The next thing is that sometimes you have to let people go. So I did lose connection with some people that I thought were going to be in my life forever earlier this year, and that was one of the hardest parts of this year. You know, I went through a lot this year, but that was one of the hardest parts. And whenever things go wrong with people, I have the bad habit of always trying to see what I did wrong, and I always try to blame myself for things falling out with somebody, which also isn't good for my mental health. But this year I was able to realize that things are not always my fault. I do not have control of everything, and I'm also a big believer that things happen for a reason. So sometimes you kind of lose connections with people, but maybe you met that person to make an impact in their life, or maybe they taught you something, and it also helps you realize your worth and ultimately who are the people that you want to keep in your life. So number 19 is simple. It is just 2 words, but I learned that I should not settle. I realized this in various aspects of my life. So whether this was in my friendships, in relationships, and in my job. I recently had an opportunity come to me, and although I would like to get into my industry and start working, it wasn't really what I've been looking for. And so after a lot of thought, I did have to turn it down, because I do not want to settle just for like the first opportunity that comes around, or the first guy, or friends who call you a friend but do not treat you like one. So it's important to remember where your values stand, what goals you want to reach, so that you don't settle for the first thing that comes by and then later regret it in life. And last but certainly not least is that my relationship with God is so important. So I cannot emphasize enough that this year has been so hard, but I want to thank God for allowing me to get to where I am today, because if it weren't for him, I don't know where I would be. And praying, spending time with God, talking to him was honestly one of the most helpful things that helped me get through this year. And even though it has been a tough year, I have faith that everything happens for a reason. And I just want to let each and every single one of you guys watching this video know that I'm so proud of you guys. We should be so proud of ourselves because we got to this point. It is December, and by the time that you guys are watching this, tomorrow will be the start of a new year, and I really hope nothing but the best for you guys, and I truly hope that 2021 is a much better year for all of you guys.